And we are live, man. We got a lot of talk, a lot of corruption to cover today. So let's just dig right into it. Let's go. Good morning, everybody. Just a few things that I want to leave. I want to start by putting a little taste in your mouth before we start talking about the different stories that we have. I got three different things going on today, on the corruption front. Just to give you a little, set the stage. Let's just take a look at what's going on. First of all, oil is planted solidly at $100 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate's at about 95. Brent crude is set solidly at $100 a barrel. This isn't a temporary thing. This is the new reality, and it is going to go up from here. The fact that it has planted its feet, it is solidly at $100 a barrel. You're going to see additional tightening of supplies in the near future. I don't know that it's long. I don't hold a crystal ball. I don't know if it's going to be long term. But we do know we've got news out of the Gulf today that tells us, yes, in the short term, tightening supplies are going to be tightening even more. We know that. So we're just starting there. Oil is already at $100 a barrel and just going up from here. We've got some economic news that has come out. Core PCE inflation is hot, 3.1%. What you already knew. Shit's expensive, yo. And getting worse. Because everything we've talked about diesel, we've talked about how it affects inflation and how over the next at least 6 months, diesel prices are going to figure into additional costs for everything that you buy. Also, fourth quarter GDP was revised down to just 0.7%. 0.7%. And look, the theme for today, just to be clear, the theme for today is the press isn't doing its job. Do you remember any stories about terrible numbers at Christmas? I don't. I mean, we talked about them fudging the numbers, and we talked about the fact that these numbers don't look right, that they don't comport to any reality where I'm living. But did you see any stories about, hey, this Christmas season sucks? Yeah, that fourth quarter GDP, that's Christmas, folks. That's the big end of the year push, which means all the other numbers are lies. Folks, if GDP was revised down to 0.7% for the fourth quarter, that's the last 3 months of the year. You know how it works. October, November, December is the holidays. That's Thanksgiving. That's Christmas. That's, worldwide, man. It's not just the United States. It's Canada. It's Europe. It's worldwide. That fourth quarter is it. That's where everybody makes their money. And if they're revising GDP down to 0.7%, you know damn well Every other set of numbers that they have produced for you are bullshit. The economy is struggling, doesn't cover it. And then we have this war of choice. And on top of it, we have blatant corruption out of this regime. Just blatant corruption. Starting with something like this. Again, we've got two more things I want to show you before we start digging into the actual stories I want to talk about. This just happened. You remember when I told you, I said, look, we talked about India and India getting a pass. One second, I want to adjust something. Oh, blinded me over here. Whew, that is hot. Got to turn that down. Sorry about that, folks. Got to light this a little bit much. We talked about India. We talked about India getting a pass to buy Russian oil. And I told you, that's it. That's it. The minute they issued India a special pass to go buy Russian oil to avoid Russian oil sanctions, I told you, that's it. That's it. Nobody else, not Europe, nobody else is going to put up with it. That's the collapse. That is the end of Russian oil sanctions. Russia is now cut the fuck loose. Well, this happened. This happened because of Donnie's dumbass war in Iran. Yesterday, mid-interview, Scott Bessent was summoned to the White House. He was doing an interview, got up halfway through, went to the White House, and yeah, that was the news. Russian oil sanctions are a thing of the past. Pooty Poot is cut loose. Now, this is the same Pooty Poot that is feeding Iran targeting information on our troops and targeting information on some of the targets we're going to talk about today. He's been rewarded because, Russian sanctions have been repealed. Why that isn't blowing up everywhere, I don't know. It's like one mention and that's it. Could you imagine for 1 second, just 1 second, any of these stories under any, the Obama administration, the Biden administration? This would be a week-long screaming match from our media. Donald Trump, with huge ties to Russia, who has always bent over for Putin, just eliminates Russian sanctions. It's over. It's over. And then as we talked about in the last show, the huge corruption. We've talked about the coltan in Venezuela. We talked about the rare earth minerals in Greenland, and all of a sudden, the Trump boys are in the rare earth business. No experience in it, no history in it. The Trumps are not known as being a mining family. All of a sudden, the Trump boys are in the mining business for rare earth minerals. With everything that's going on with Greenland and Venezuela and everything. We talked about all that. Did the media talk to you about that? No, seriously. I check me. You folks keep me grounded. You folks keep me accurate. You folks keep me honest. And I love that. That is one of our biggest strengths, is that you folks are so well informed, so tied in. Did anybody in the media cover the fact that, the Trump family's now into rare earth minerals? No. Was this a week-long story? Oh, we're attacking a country, and all of a sudden the Trump family is into rare earth minerals where they're only found in Venezuela and coltan and all the rest? No, just here. Drone technology. we've got Ukraine very much having a good day and a bad day. The good day is that Volodymyr Zelensky, if you don't watch American news where there's nothing about this, if you watch European news, Volodymyr Zelensky has a lot more bravado these days. In fact, there was one European news outlet that was running an article saying, "Oh, Volodymyr Zelensky, look at my cards." Remember when Trump said, "You have no cards and you need to bend the knee," and all that? And Volodymyr Zelensky, look at my cards. Because we suddenly need them for drone defense. Trump boys, they're suddenly in the drone business. No history of it. Trump family hasn't been a technology family. Surely not an aerospace business. No. But suddenly, the Trump boys, when there are Pentagon contracts to be had, the Trump boys are suddenly in the drone business. Wow. Partnered up with the company that is working with Volodymyr Zelensky in Ukraine to transfer drone technology to the United States. All of that we talked about in the past. Did you see any of that railed about? No, you didn't. You didn't. And this is the last part of what I want to talk about just to set the stage. We are not the same. We are not the same. Democrats and Republicans are not the same. Anybody that says both parties are the same is a moron. Is a moron. This just happened. Normally, war going on, this would be a lot of pressure. This would be a lot of pressure on the Democrats to cave over Homeland Security and ICE. They did not. They did not. Before this vote happened, just a little additional information. Before this vote happened, the funding, by the way, the funding bill that the Republicans brought to the floor, thinking that they had the Democrats, over the barrel, Iran war, certainly the Democrats must cave because we're at war. Anything that happens will be their fault if we don't fund DHS. No. The Democrats put an offer on the table. They actually produced a bill that was not allowed to come up for a vote that said, look, we'll separate out ICE. We'll fund all of it. THS, we'll fund all of it. TSA, all of it. I said THS. I don't know where that came from. Just pulled that out of my butt. TSA, we'll fund it all. We'll fund all of it except ICE. Except ICE. We will fund it all except ICE. Republicans said, no, we're not doing that. They really thought they had the Democrats bent over a barrel. Even John Fetterman voted no. So, yeah. This is where we're at. This is where we're at. You got the Republicans playing games and corruption. Meanwhile, you're getting kicked in the cooter from every direction. From every direction. So let's talk about what's happening. 1 second. Y'all have seen this. This has been in the news for days now. And kudos, hey, I nailed the corporate media for not talking about this. 1 second. This has been all over the news. Congratulations for them talking about this. Forgive me, I accidentally closed that tab. My fat fingers, sorry it took so long. But yes, this has been going on in every media outlet. This is one that even Cletus can understand, although Cletus will stick his fingers in his ears and go, la, 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 but Democrats spent money. That's all they'll say. That's all they'll say. Steak, lobsters, Steinway pianos, travel, all kinds of stuff is just being, the Pentagon just went on a spending spree. While your groceries are through the roof, Pete Hegseth is buying Alaskan king crab. He's buying lobsters. He's buying not just steaks, but like New York strips to the tune of, millions and millions of dollars. Oh yeah. A big buy on Viagra because, hey, it's a party, right? It's a party. It's a party with old dudes. You got to have the little blue pills. You just do. Yeah. You saw all that. Well, we're not going to talk about that today because you've seen that for days. There's more. Oh, wait, there's more. God, I miss Billy Mays. So, yeah, I mean, one more taste before we go. Yeah, they lied about the fourth quarter GDP numbers. They're abysmal, 0.7%. Okay, this is where we're at. You got the taste in your mouth? You got the taste? Well, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. Pete Hegseth said this, and this is going to be a little bit of a long clip, but I think it's really worth listening to everything he says here. It's about a minute and a half, but it's worth it. Okay, stick with me. This is going to set the stage for more of what we're talking about.
Yet some in this crew, in the press, just can't stop. Allow me to make a few suggestions. People look up at the TV and they see banners, they see headlines. I used to be in that business, and I know that everything is written intentionally. For example, a banner or a headline, Mideast war intensifies, splashing on the screen the last couple of days, alongside visuals of civilian or energy targets that Iran has hit, because that's what they do. What should the banner read instead? How about Iran increasingly desperate? Because they are. They know it, and so do you, if it can be admitted. Or more fake news from CNN. Reports that the Trump administration underestimated the Iran war's impact on the Strait of Hormuz. Patently ridiculous, of course. For decades, Iran has threatened shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. This is always what they do, hold the strait hostage. CNN doesn't think we thought of that. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better.
That's the part I wanted you to hear. We don't have to watch the rest of it. Let me let him say it one more time.
Takes over that network, the better. It's a fundamentally unserious report. The sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better.
Okay, the way he characterized that was all bullshit, yada, yada. Most of that was bullshit. The part where he says the sooner David Ellison takes over that network, the better. What he's saying right there, out in the open, and what he's talking about is the Paramount takeover that's going to end up giving them control of CNN. David Ellison, the son of Larry Ellison, the Trump taint licking Larry Ellison, the guy that sits on the board of Elon Musk's Tesla that, keeps getting Elon Musk paid trillions of dollars, even though he's fucking wrecking the company. That Ellison family now controls a huge swath of our news media. And boy, Pete Hegseth can't wait until they control even more. Because he just can't handle the news that's coming out. Folks, we have to, I've taken this as a personal challenge. I have to improve. I have to get better. I really thought this was going to be a temporary gig. I thought America was going to get back on track. We were going to be done with this Trump bullshit and it was going to be over. And I was going to go back to woodworking and fishing. That is not the case. That is not the case. The only place you're going to get real information is places just like this. Because they're telling you. They're not even hiding it. They're telling you, I can't wait for David Ellison to control the news that you hear. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We are. We're going to put a pin in that right there. We're going to talk about the news for just a second. Let me read a few comments and then we'll go on. Then we'll go on. As soon as Ellison owns CNN, the billionaires will own the media. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chinese and Iran flagged ships can pass through the straits. Yep. Jan Ricken, glad to see you here. Jan Rickenberg, glad to see you here. Love to see all the new people. Jeremy Breeden in the house. Thank you, brother. Dave Barone, this will not stop, not until they manufacture another distraction to take its place. Trump's already bored with Iran. He's already bored. He wants this over. JPR, Trump's government is controlling the media. They are restrained from reporting it. It's so effing obvious, and nobody in Congress is doing shit about it. Come on, November. That's not true. Now, JPR, let me tell you, you need to say Republicans in Congress. You do. You know what? Let me play you something to show you what I'm doing. And no smoke towards you at all. No smoke towards you at all. We're not the stupids. Boy, I tell you what, I got sunburned yesterday. Woo! Sorry. I'm bright red. I'm glowing red. But yeah, JPR, stick with me. Stick with me. Let me play you something and why I say no. It's the Republicans in it's not Congress. It's the Republicans in Congress. Let me play you this clip. And forgive the background noise here. It's in a hallway with marble floors, and there's somebody pushing a cart, and you can hear it rolling. Forgive me. But this just hold tight. You're going to like this. You're going to like this, JPR.
This is the most incompetent, incoherent war America has fought in the last 100 years, and that's saying a lot. This administration has no idea what they are doing. There's no viable war plan. They change their goals and their aims every single day. I have great sympathy for our soldiers and our military leaders. They are being given directions by a senile old man who is losing his mind. And so it's no surprise that this war is going horribly.
So where do you think Chris Murphy got the stones to finally come out and call Trump senile on CNN? We're doing it, baby. We're doing it. We're doing it. We keep banging away on these messages. Oh, shoot, looked like Trump there for a second. Oh, that was meant to be fists. We're doing it. We're doing it. And the Democrats, they're getting out there. They're standing in front of the cameras. They're talking shit. They don't own the cameras. They can't make the news media play everything they're saying, but they are out there swinging. It's the Republicans in Congress that aren't doing shit. It's the Republicans. Whenever somebody walks up with a mic and tries to get them to talk about something, they say, "Oh, I haven't heard about that," or the fact that they claim to live inside a bubble. You've heard about it, but they're saying they who have a staff whose job it is to feed them news clippings every day so that they know what's going on. They say they don't know. They say they don't know. They say they don't know. So yeah, I know what you meant. I know what you meant, Jay. And again, this is no smoke towards you at all. At all. I love what you're saying there. The Trump government is controlling the media. But yeah, we need to get in the habit of saying Republicans in Congress. Put that qualifier on there. Democrats are out there swinging. They are. Tiger Butterfly, this is what the Treasury put out. General License 13 for Russia oil and petroleum products, 12:01 a.m., March 12th, ending April 11th, 2026. If it ends on April 11th, I will do a live, and I will literally eat this hat on that live. It is not ending in April. Those are gone. Daryl Curzon, thank you. Thank you for supporting the show. Christopher Daly, 6.9 million for lobster tails. Yeah, must be nice, man. Must be nice. Mike Daly, you know what? I hate to do this, but I love trivia. I love trivia. Did you know? It's amazing how things change. Did you know that it used to be written into servants' contracts? I'm talking about hired servants, you know, lords and ladies and, wealthy Americans with their manners and, the class that would have servants that are professional that would actually get contracts. It was in their contracts that they couldn't be fed lobster more than once a week. That's true. That's true. Fact check me on that. That is a true thing. It used to be written into servants' contracts. They would have it written in that they couldn't be fed lobster more than once a week because lobster was considered trash. There used to be so plentiful. They were everywhere that's what these tight-ass rich bastards would do. They would just get the cheapest thing that they could buy at the fish market, which was these ugly crustaceans nobody wanted to eat that were so plentiful out there. And they would feed them to their servants. And the servants were like, no. Now it's a delicacy. Now we pay top dollar for lobster. But it really did used to be considered trash food. It really did. It's amazing how things change. Sorry about that. But fact check me on that. That is true. That is a true statement. Mike Daly, the Dim. Morning, brother. The Pentagon was so unprepared for stranded Americans in the Middle East that Nancy Mace is going over there to get them out. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I had not heard that Mace is going over there. I had not heard that. Oh, my God. Catherine Ryan, thank you for being here. He is an absolute idiot. He is. Lori Yates, vote to get rid of the corruption. JPR Ellison, government controls the media. He said it out loud. Boom. Yep. Welcome, Alexander Dolforst. Welcome. Glad to see the new memberships. To help Irish up your coffee, Thomas K. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you. Spicy Jester. Rockefeller paid 79% in taxes at one point. Bezos and Musk pay less than 1%. 1 year, Bezos had income over $21 billion and paid 0.98%. Is asking them to pay 10% really that much? Yet they give them more money. Yep, you're hitting it. JPR Ellison, government control of the media. You said it out loud. Yep. New West Bill. Thank you for always being here, Bill. I appreciate you. McBassage, embrace the fact that we're all in this for the long haul, hermano. That's brother, by the way. It's going to get worse until we make it better. No quarter, hold the line. Amen, brother. Amen. Just we're going to read 3 more and we're going to go back to the show. Stick with me. These comments are good. If you're watching this show, you've got to have the live comments active. The conversation happening in the live comments is fantastic. You must have the live comments up. Omniscient Sphinx. Hey, Paul, it's funny how Nintendo is suing the U.S. over the tariffs. I know what you meant there. You said tariffs, but you meant tariffs. I know what you meant. Now they have new reasons. The Pentagon uses Wii Sports to sell BS war. Will they jump on it? Kudos to Midas. If you haven't seen that clip from Midas, where they show how the Pentagon has taken Nintendo Wii footage and woven it into a bullshit propaganda attack. They actually compared Iranian propaganda with our propaganda and showed them one right after the other. Kudos to Midas. Those guys, I'm telling you, that's the media you need to be following. That's the kind of media you need to be following. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. I don't have it for you. I should have had it for you here. See, that's what I'm talking about. If we're going to do this, I have got to get better. I should have had that for you. I should have had that for you. That was a good video, but you got to go find it. You got to go find it. JP, I stand correct. No, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to correct you. I wasn't. I had no smoke towards you whatsoever. I was simply suggesting that I've got to get better. I've got to hone myself. We're the ones leading the charge. We're not the stupids. The stupids out there are the sheep that need to be led to it. Let's lead them. Let's throw that word Republican in there. That's all I was saying. The Republicans aren't doing anything. They aren't. Last comment, and we're going to go back. Samita Fakeda, thank you for always being here. Thank you. Coming out with the big guns blazing. Bam, bam, bam. This Republican administration is mind-numbingly stupid. Let's all just vote them out of office now and for the next 50 years. I'm with you. All right, let's get back to it, and I'll read some more comments later in just a little bit. Let's get right back to it. Okay, this is what you see in our media. This is what you see in our media. All right. This is Pete Hegseth from the same press conference. This was actually shown several clips on many of the corporate media outlets. Just stick with me though, okay? Stick with me. This is what he said.
Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently, killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know.
Sorry, I was muted there for that whole last thing that I said, because when I run a video, it automatically mutes. And if I want to give a comment, I've got to unmute it. And I fucked up. I did. This is what I'm saying. I have got to improve. I do. I have got to get better. I've got to, I've been pigeonholing money. You're going to see a better backdrop. We're going to go next level on this. We have to, because of this shit right here. I just wanted to, what I said was, I want you to keep in mind, as he was talking that shit about Ali Khamenei, pardon me, Ayatollah Khamenei, the new supreme leader of Ali Khamenei's son. He killed his wife. They killed several of his children. They killed his uncles. They didn't just kill Ali Khamenei. No, they bombed the family compound. Several members of this guy's family were killed. So let's just be clear. Let's just be clear. When he's talking about this, I want the story to be, remember that rest of the story. And we're going to talk about that more on the other side. I'll stop interrupting it.
The new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently, killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called...
Okay, I don't want to hear any more of this. They're your enemy. Calling them rats does nothing. It does nothing. It shows your own inhumanity. And there's such a history of people, fascist dehumanizing people. I'm not going to allow that to continue. Again, is it good that a terrible regime in Iran is, that the leader was killed? Yeah, but she didn't get rid of the regime. The son is going to be worse, and he is highly motivated to hate every American that ever lived or ever will live. You have disfigured his face. I told you in the last show, his eye was injured. They know at least his orbital socket was broken. So yeah. And we know that his foot was fractured. We don't know. I mean, that, the way propaganda works. That could be the good explanation. He may be physically disfigured. This guy is going to have hate in his heart forever. But to say that they're hiding underground, to say that they are hiding like rats, this is why I'm telling you, you're going to have to change where you get your information from. It's going to have to be from now on places like here, places like Midas, places like Aaron Parnes, places like, you're not going to be able to rely on the media. And here's why. What I just showed you ran on the news. That was put out by the media. But this is Ari Larijani. He's the head of the Iranian National Security Council. They had a big parade yesterday in Iran. They have an annual celebration called Quds Day. Remember, I talked to you about the Quds forces they're the people that they do the terrorist training. They're part of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Quds Corps. They're the ones that they train groups like Hamas. They train groups like Hezbollah. They're the ones that fund them. They're the ones that funnel weapons to them. There's an annual parade to celebrate them every year in Iran, and that was yesterday. Does he look like he's hiding underground? Does he look like a rat that's hiding underground? Or does he look like he's marching at the head of a parade that's estimated to have tens of thousands of people in it? By the way, Israel bombed near the parade on purpose. They didn't stop the parade. They kept walking. I mean, does he look like a rat? This is Ari Larijani. He is one of the prime targets in a war. He's the head of their security council, marching at the front of a parade. And he's not the only one. I want you to forgive the pixelation of this picture. You've seen me talk about him before. This was lifted off of a video that was online from SNN TV. Again, you're going to have to go to foreign sources. You're just going to have to go to foreign sources for your news, because this is clearly this is Mohsen Ejai. We talked about him. He was one of the triumvirate leaders before they selected Khamenei to be the new supreme leader. He was part of the triumvirate that was running the country. I mean, does he look like he's hiding underground like a rat? Or is he out marching in a parade? And you have to ask yourself, what do we look like? What do we look like? when we have on our media and our Secretary of War, the war fighter, on television, just saying shit that is just fundamentally not true. You know, the rest of the world sees this. The rest of the world sees it. And you get these juxtapositions of, you know, what's on our media, because the rest of the world sees that too. I mean, American media gets, ask our European audience, ask our Canadian audience, ask the members, they're here in the live chat, ask them, that does our media not bleed out into the rest of the world? It does. It absolutely does. So when he's talking about your story should be a diminished Iran, that's what he went on to say, the part I cut off, is he goes on to say, your story should be a diminished, shrinking Iran, not that the Iran war is expanding. You should say it the way I want you to say it. Meanwhile, this is happening. You know, we talked in the last show about a Thai flagged bulk carrier it's one of the 6 here, but there's been 5 additional ships attacked. 2 of them were fuel carriers. One of them was a container ship. Yeah, this is expanding. This is what the rest of the world is seeing. Did you see this on our news? This is what I want to ask you. Did you see this on our media? Because this is happening. This is footage taken from another ship anchored near this ship. This is in Iraq, folks. This is at Iraq's fuel terminal. This isn't in the Strait of Hormuz. They're hitting ships everywhere. They're hitting ships everywhere in the Persian Gulf. That is going to decimate our economy. And Pete Hegseth, who's out there corrupt as fuck, buying lobsters and Alaskan king crab and everything else, wants our media to lie to you and tell you how great it's freaking going. Meanwhile, you have this. This is, again, I've got to issue that warning that I do. This is off a French news streaming service. I believe they also have a YouTube channel, which means YouTube very well may flag this. I'm risking a copyright strike here. I already have one active strike out there. So this is a big deal. But I want you to see this. It's important that you see this. It's the juxtaposition. I'm not lifting their footage. I want you to see the juxtaposition of what we see in our media versus what the French see. I want to give credit. This is from LCI, the French news streaming service, LCI. But yeah, if you don't see a video here, and you're watching on replay, I had to take it down because of a copyright strike. But let me explain what this is going to be. French media juxtaposes the shit we say versus shit that's really happening to point out to the rest of the world just how detached and clueless we are. Forgive the pixelation. This again was lifted off of social media, so it's not that great. But the French are showing the other fuel tanker that was hit, burning, juxtaposed next to Trump, dancing like a fool at one of his rallies, in which they are explaining that he told everybody at the crowd that they've just basically defeated Iran. That's what the rest of the world is seeing. And if you're watching this on replay and that video is not there, just do a search for French split screen on any social media platform. You'll see it. You'll see it. But yeah, I mean, folks, I'm going to have to commit to going next level. Yeah, there you go. Don Lemon. Don Lemon had it on also. Don Lemon had it on also. We're gonna have to go next level with this. There is no other option. They're telling us out loud, the broligarchs are buying up our news services and they intend to control what you see and hear. They already are. How many instances have I pointed out of things that you are not seeing that are big fucking deals? Not seeing them on our news. We're going to have to do it. We're just going to have to. It is what it is. If we're going to see what's going on, we're going to have to do it our damn selves. It's just what we're going to have to do. Let me go back and read a few more comments while we're at it. Edward Cooley, keep up the good work. Yeah. I am, brother. I'm committed now. I'm committed. This is not going to be a temporary gig. This is a long-term gig. Cassie Lake, view from the Canadian Bison Ranch. You all have been in a soft civil war for some time. Tip for the coffee jar. Keep calm and carny on. Whoo, have you been seeing, this isn't part of today's show, but have you been seeing the mess that the right-wingers think they've got something to throw at Carney because of the base that was attacked in Iraq? That Carney didn't run to a microphone and say, this happened. And now you've got the conservatives over there claiming that Carney kept that from you and didn't want to tell everybody that Canadian troops are being attacked. That's blowing up. Watch that over the next couple of days. That's going to blow up over Canadian media because the conservative-owned media in Canada has been dying for something to attack Carney on. They think they've got something there. And yes, folks, our Canadian friends have been attacked in Iraq because of this. They're not participating in this. They're not participating in the attacks on Iran. They aren't. But they are catching hell because of it. Alexander Dolfors, I'll be honest, I joined because I saw a clip of you saying taint in the accent of yours, and it cracked me up. But I'm staying for the excellent information, analysis, and community. You're going to hear that word every once in a while. You are. I know I've got to get better, but I am not going to stop talking like me. I'm just not. E.T., they hawk so much about bricks, but when pain could be spread out to also hurt them, somehow they're afraid of getting them mad at us. Yep. Pavlon 01. Thanks for gifting the memberships, Pavlon. There are gifted memberships out there for people to grab. There are. Audrey B, super sticker. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate the support. Awesome. RN gifted 5 memberships. There are memberships out there to grab. There are. You got to there's a process. You hit the join button down there. Don't be afraid of that. It's not automatic. You hit the join button down there, and you may have to authorize the ability to accept gifts. It'll walk you through it. It will. Glenn Kaneko, and they don't realize the Hegseth let the cat out of the bag right to the press. Yep. They have no clue that is a stupid thing to say because they're that imbecilic. They're that idiotic. Karen Davis, glad to see you're a member, Karen. Glad to see you here. JPR, love you, Texas Paul. You saved me money on therapy. I'm glad to be of service, man. Glad to be of service. ARC DSA, Dems take over. Can they break media monopoly? Yeah, I was thinking about that today. That is the new thing that I've got to reach out to everybody. I try to earn points with people in Congress so they'll take my phone calls. That is what I'm going to be talking about. You know, when Teddy Roosevelt, he was a Republican. He was, but he was probably the last decent Republican. When Teddy Roosevelt came into office, that's what he did. He started breaking up monopolies. That's the first damn thing we need to do when we take over in 2028 is we need to start busting up these media companies. We do. Skeet Sayre, the hatred is so plain, calling humans rats. It's pure 1930s propaganda. Yep. Kim, glad to see you here, Kim. Glad to see all the new members. Alan Davis, all this bloodshed and destruction just distract from the Epstein files. Yep. Asbjorn Knudsen in the house. Good to see you, Mr. Knudsen. Put the parental lock on Fox on some and similar on your boomers TV to save America. Amen. Amen. They won't know how to turn it off. They won't. Block it out for them. Chandra Patton. Oh, the gaslighting. So tired. Yep, that's all it is. We're going to control the media, so we're going to gaslight you. And they're telling you out loud. Cecile Kazemi, I am no fan of the Iranian regime, but Keg's breath shows such stunning ignorance and arrogance as their war of choice affects the entire world. And that's the thing, folks. That's the thing. This was all a war of choice. This didn't have to happen. Netanyahu wanted this. Trump was in trouble too, so he said, sure. They thought it was going to be like the last time they bombed. Bomb in and out. They had no idea. Trump was so incompetent. He just let Netanyahu run this, and Netanyahu started killing families. And now this isn't going to go away. Just because we stop doesn't mean it stops. I mean, would you? I know if they murdered Mrs. Texas Paul, it would be my life's mission. I would absolutely make it my life's mission. Patty Sunbury, welcome. Two more and we'll get back to work. Skeet Sayre, American right-wing propaganda has made some people in Alberta want to separate because we have mat leave and are too woke as a result. Oh my God. The stupidity of the right, and it's global. Ask our folks in the UK. Ask our folks in Europe. Ask Mr. Knudsen there in Norway. We've got people here from Denmark. Their right wing is just as stupid as our right wing. Cassie Lake. Anyone else see Scott Besson on Sky AU News? Trump called him out. He returned visibly shaken. Adam Mock. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's what it was. It was they're repealing, 100% repealing the Russian. That's when it happened. That's when it happened. But look, I want to talk about this, folks. This has happened. You remember in a previous show, we talked about Tracy McLaughlin. If that name doesn't ring a bell, this will. She was the spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security. Ice Barbie. And she quit. She quit in the middle of the Alex Preddy, Sandra Good murders. And my first take on it was, out of coffee. Shit's hit the fan. And she doesn't want to be part of it. Oh no. The stuff that's coming out. You'll remember we talked about this when it happened back in November. We talked about this in the show. We talked about the commercials and how Tricia McLaughlin was tied to them. Fast forward to just a few weeks ago when they had the hearings on this. Oh, this has gotten much worse. Just a quick recap if you don't know. This is her grift. This is what Kristi Noem did. And when I say what she did, I mean before she became head of DHS. She runs a con, and let me explain it to you. She wanted to be a model really bad, but was never pretty enough to do it. So now we taxpayers are letting her live her modeling dream, but she's also turned it into a grift, a way to suck money out of our pockets. This goes all the way back to South Dakota, folks. This was a commercial run in South Dakota. She ran several of these. Same shit. Oh, I get to do a commercial. Aren't I pretty? Aren't I a model? And it was just bullshit. Millions of dollars were sent to the companies that made these. And we talked about the ones she did at DHS, how the company that got that contract just came into being like 8 days before the contract. That it's shady as hell. It's somebody's personal address. We don't know anything about the company. Well, it's coming out. It's coming out. I'm telling you, folks, if we put Democrats in power, we give Democrats power, this is the kind of thing that gets dug out. This is the kind of thing that gets dug out. Y'all remember back when we talked back in November about Trisha and Ben Yuhu. Ben Yuhu. Her husband. This is her and her husband. Y'all remember we talked about him. It was his company, Go West Media, that was making bank when she was making these commercials in South Dakota. And turns out he got the contracts again, but they hid it. They hid it for the DHS commercials, but it did come out. It did come out in the hearing. It did come out in the hearing. She got nailed directly on this one. She was asked directly. And her answer was, she was asked, Mr. Yuhu is also the husband of your former spokesman, Trisha McLaughlin. She said, yes. So your assistant and her husband are the ones that got the DHS no bid contract for $143 million. Any dispute about that? Kristi Noem? No. No. That's when she was all deer in the headlights. She knew she was caught. The gig is out of the bag. The made-up company that just appeared, Yuhu is a subcontractor. He's a subcontractor. Strategic Media is his company. Okay? It's actually the Strategy Group. Go West Media is a subsidiary of the Strategy Group. The Strategic Media is another one. That's going to be important here in just a minute. Strategic Media, I need some more coffee, man. Strategic Media Placement is a subsidiary of the Strategy Group. That's going to be important here in a minute. So just to be clear, I want these dots to be very clear. Going all the way back to South Dakota, you've had this guy, Ben Yuhu, making commercials for her, right? He's married to her assistant. She's funneling millions back into her assistant's pocket. Now the connection that we're going to have to make is does that money flow back from Trisha McLaughlin back to Kristi Noem? That's where when we elect Democrats, that's where we start getting financial records, because the Republicans don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. They let her quit. They consider the matter closed. We elect Democrats, we get that next evolution. But wait for it. It gets better. It gets better. There is some strategy going on the MAGA side. And Trisha McLaughlin just went under the bus because Kristi Noem also testified that, that contract, it was put out for public bidding. It was put out for competitive bidding, and they just won it. They're just that good. They're just that good. Ben Yoho's just that good. That's how he got it. He just won it. Turns out, no, that was a lie. That was a lie. It's the Daily Wire that's actually doing that has been leading the charge on this one. And you've got somebody that is MAGA, because Daily Wire is a right-wing news source. They are a right-wing news source that is feeding the Daily Wire this information. This is one of the paragraphs in that article. According to the Daily Wire, a current DHS official said, that is a current, still working at DHS official, said McLaughlin had significant involvement in the procurement process and appeared on emails about vendor selection, which is really freaking weird because Homeland Security tried to clean this up. And Homeland Security put a statement out saying, that whole, it was public bidding, it was competitive bidding. None of the people, Tricia McLaughlin, nobody had anything to do. They didn't mention Tricia McLaughlin specifically, but she said nobody had anything to do with the bidding, none of the staffers, yada, yada, yada. She lied. She perjured herself. That goes against, this is another paragraph, and that goes against the public line that outgoing Homeland Security Secretary Noem gave Congress. I don't know why 54. I don't know why her age is pertinent here, but they said Kristi Noem, 54, gave Congress when she said the ads went through a competitive process and were chosen by career officials. The Daily Wire said only 3 hand-picked GOP-linked firms were invited to bid. And one of them was Tricia McLaughlin's husband's company. And you have consciousness of guilt here because you've got the shell company. You've got the new company created. And then Yuhu's company that gets all the money is a subcontractor that's not listed. They don't have to disclose the subcontractors. So they knew that this was going to be bad. They knew that if anybody found out, it was going to be a problem. Yuhu lied in a previous interview. He said, I don't have anything to do with this. Oh no, there would be conflicts of interest with my wife. I have nothing to do with this. Turns out, he's got like $143 million worth to do with this. And it's coming out. It's coming out. And we're going somewhere with this. Because people are like, well, Noem's out. This isn't that big a deal. It's a big freaking deal. This is blowing up in ways they did not expect it to. This is coming out. ProPublica and other left-wing non-corporate sources are digging on this and digging on this. And man, I'm telling you, it is big. It is big. Democrats are not going to let it go. They're already wanting to open a perjury investigation on Kristi Noem. Now, keep in mind, I was talking about strategy a minute ago. We're going to circle back to that. We're going to circle back to that. They're wanting to go back after Kristi Noem for perjury. Because it's not just that. See, she also said that Corey Lewandowski had nothing to do with any contracts or any contracting. We know that's not true too. This is a paragraph from the article, the headline I just showed you previously. At a state judiciary committee hearing on Tuesday, Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat of Connecticut, asked Noem whether Lewandowski has, quote, a role in improving contracts at DHS. Noem responded with a flat denial. No. But internal DHS records reviewed by ProPublica contradict Noem's Senate testimony. The records show Lewandowski personally approved a multi-million-dollar contract at the agency last summer. Yeah. They've got her. They've got her by the short hairs. They do. They've got her. 1 second. I need just a second. I got to pause for just 1 second. They've got her by the shorties on perjury. They do. But let's circle back around to the strategy part. Somebody who is still actively at DHS that worked directly for Kristi Noem has thrown Ice Barbie under the bus. Because not only did they tell the Daily Wire that Tricia McLaughlin and her husband, Tricia McLaughlin was directly involved in the decision, they told them there's emails. There's emails. And tipped them as to which emails to look for. So yeah, you have somebody that came out of Kristi Noem's shop that is still at DHS that is feeding, because remember, Kristi Noem's not out for another few days. They're feeding to the press. Oh no, this was McLaughlin. This was Lewandowski. Not me. It wasn't me. I didn't know. I'm just dumb as a box of hair. And everybody will believe she is dumb as a box of hair. So yeah, this is going to get good. This is going to get good. You got MAGA on MAGA attacks going on. They're leaking where to get the information. This is going to get good because Kristi Noem, she's facing a perjury rap. Her only defense in that perjury rap is, I didn't know. I really didn't know. I told you what I thought was the truth. I'm just that dumb. I'm just that bad. I was just a figurehead. She's already tried it. Remember her statement before about, I just did what Miller told me to do. I just did what Miller and Trump told me to do. And Trump, remember, had to have the press conference the next day that said, I didn't tell her shit. This is why. And wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. It gets so much better. This is not just blowing up on the current administration. Thank you for the coffee, honey. Boy, my mouth was so dry. Man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. I hope it's better. This is why it's a big freaking deal. Vivek Ramaswamy is running for governor of Ohio. He is running for governor of Ohio. Guess who has deep ties to not just Ohio, has done work for Republicans in Ohio, Republicans in the legislature, made commercials for Republicans in the legislature, but has deep ties to Vivek Ramaswamy and ran his presidential campaign when he was running. Wild guess who that was. Wild guess who that was. I'll give you a hint. His company has the word strategy in it. His company name has the word strategy in it. Yeah, Ben Yehu is based out of Ohio. This is going to blow up all over Vivek Ramaswamy. And folks, Ramaswamy, he may have a primary in May, but with numbers like these, he's going to be the Republican candidate for governor. And the Republican establishment in Ohio has been in full freakout mode about it. Bowling Green State University poll, Ramaswamy up 58. Bowling Green State University Democracy poll, Ramaswamy up by 50 from April to October. Up by 50, up by 58. He is widening his lead. National Public Affairs, Dave Yost over there, that's a paid poll, has him up by 28. WPA Intelligence, paid for by Club for Growth, has Ramaswamy up by 32 points. He's going to be their guy. He's going to be their guy. And he's got Yost spooge, Yoo-hoo spooge all over him. They are thick as thieves. Yoo-hoo ran his campaign. I guarantee you right now, Ramaswamy and his campaign are trying to purge every single connection they had to Tricia McLaughlin and Ben Yoo-hoo. And the Democrats know it. All we have to do is find out, because his modus operandi is to create a company that is part of the strategy group and give it some weird name like Go West Media. We'll find it. It'll be in the disclosures. It'll take a little digging, but we'll find out what work Yoo-hoo's doing for Ramaswamy right now. And that he took hundreds of millions of, that Kristi Noem spent hundreds of millions of dollars to push through them. And we're going to find out when we do our job and put Democrats in control in the midterms, we're going to find out how much of that money went back to Kristi Noem. She's going to prison. She's going to prison. I'm sorry. I love politics. They're on this. Republicans are desperately trying to say, oh, well, she quit. That's it. We don't have to worry about her. And then Trump stupidly gave her a government job as envoy to the Shield of America, where she's still getting paid. So the Democrats absolutely have their hands wrapped around her. She is going nowhere. Her corruption will be picked apart and put on full display, and it is going to bury Vivek Ramaswamy, who's already in deep trouble. He is already in deep trouble. Current polls show he is not going to be able to distance himself from Kristi Noem. He just isn't. The connections are too strong. In the meanwhile, you've got Amy Acton, his Democratic opponent, that is already stomping him into a mud hole. With all of the money that, Vivek Ramaswamy is loaded, man. He is a broligarch. He is wealthy, has been dumping dump trucks worth of money into this campaign. And Dr. Amy Acton has been stomping him into a mud hole, spending almost nothing. All of the internal polling is holding steady, where she's at least 10 points ahead of him. At least. And this hasn't blown up yet, folks. This isn't even on the radar yet. They have not tied Ramaswamy to the $200 million in bullshit modeling gig that Kristi Noem. And again, it is an established pattern. Going back to South Dakota, she did the same thing. she's like, oh, let me go have a modeling gig where I pretend to be a model and I'll pay my friends to make it all to the tune of millions of dollars out of taxpayers' money. This is all going to rain all over Vivek Ramaswamy. And he's already 10 points behind. In a year where the wind is at Democrats' backs, where we have the momentum, and he's running. Oh, I love you people so much. I love you people so much. I love I love having conversations with people that know what the hell is going on. Yeah, Republicans hate Ramaswamy. The actual party, they hate Ramaswamy. He's an obnoxious dickhead, and they cannot stand him. So yeah, there's nobody lining up to fall on their sword or to help Ramaswamy. Nobody. He is trying to buy a governorship and failing miserably. So I want you to, again, I'm trying to pump you up a little bit. Things are looking good. Ohio is going to flip blue. If we continue doing the work, we continue to be ride or die. We keep doing the work. We keep spreading the message out there. You do your job. Republicans in Congress are do nothing. Every time you see somebody says, and Congress is doing nothing, correct them. Republicans in Congress are doing nothing. Democrats are fighting their ass off. Let me show you. On top of all the shit we just talked about that's going to rain down like a meteor shower on Vivek Ramaswamy, it's in this environment. This is a New Hampshire congressional race that shouldn't make national news, that is making huge national news. Because this is something that should not have happened. I want to introduce you to Bobby Bowden. This is Bobby Bowden. She just won a state congressional race in New Hampshire 7th. Well, look, I'll show you the numbers. Convincingly. Remember, I told you, most of these races are a couple points. 5 points is a blowout. Right? She won this by over 3 points. Wait for it. The last time this election was held, Republicans won this exact same seat in 2022 by 12 points. By 12 points. And let me show you the area that we're talking about. Let's go to the map. I'll pull it up. This is Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. I wanted to show you this partially because I really like saying Winnipesaukee. I don't know why, but I do. This is Lake Winnipesaukee. This is blood red. This district, see Tamworth up here, Teutonboro, Wolfeboro. Also, this is that district. Everything northeast of Lake Winnipesaukee. This is deep rural red New Hampshire. This shouldn't have even been close. They won it last time by over 10 points. And these same voters said, no, we're done. Bye. Check out. We're done. And you've got to love it, folks. You've got to love it. I mean, you have got to love it. You're talking big time momentum. If we just do our jobs, keep everything on message, keep the doomers from kicking us in the cooter, keeping the purists from kicking us in the cooter. Do your damn job. Rock and Ron, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you for being here. I want to read a few comments and we'll go back to it. I got one more story for you. Mike Daly, the Dim. Lots of vets in my family. None of them strutted like keg's breath. This is not how a military superpower is supposed to behave. Nope, that's a Fox News host for you right there. Crafty Ass Gardner, thank you for gifting the memberships. There are gifted memberships out there to be had, folks. There are. Tawana Stout, thank you for being here. Glad to see so many people showing up to support the work. It is true that mouth's dry. Sorry, I need a sip of coffee. Is it true that Barron Trump bought $20 million worth of oil? It's she says pill here, but it's supposed to be oil. I know what you're talking about. Is it true that Barron Trump bought $20 million worth of oil before the war? Yes. Yes. Skeet's there. This is a great example of the evil. I think the idiot used the word excursion. Yep. Trump's trying to play it down by calling it an excursion. Meanwhile, fuel tankers are ablaze in the Persian Gulf. The Dow was zipping up and down, and it just crashed yesterday. Today it started. We'll check here in a minute and see how it's doing. But when I looked right before the show, it was doing this. Ollie, strongly believe that independent news will win in the long term. It has come so far. Yep. You know it, brother. Skeet Sayre, more perfect union makes really great content. Thank you. Rich Lawton, no King's March, March 28th. Might be a good idea to check voter ID all the way to voting day in November. Yep. Amen. Vote.org is a good resource if you want to check online, but nothing beats going down to your county registrar. Stephen Leach for the next level. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Skeet Sayre. Well, the leader on the right in Canada was in Germany and made a speech so clueless that the crowd was laughing at him. Yep. Santista. But the corporate media up in Canada, they're going to try to help him. They are. These corporate media they've given up on the news and they're in for the chaos. Santista 211, thank you. Why is Trump so much of a moron? Can't he see that the world is not following his bullshit? No, he can't. He can't. He is potato brains, mashed potato brains. He's dementia Donnie. He is completely dementia Donnie. They only hand him what they want him to say and see. He's done. They're basically weekend at burning Trump right now. That's what's going on. Kelly Klitzo, thank you. Glad to see all the new members here. The Knowledge Nook, new member. Good to see you. Happy enough, new 420, new member. I see what you did there. Stephen LeBlanc, VE9SY. Stephen LeBlanc, good to see you. Skeet Sayre, breaking. Israel has started rationing seats of people leaving on planes. Man. This is a disaster. This is a frickin' disaster. Two old idiots, selfish, psychopathic idiots, Netanyahu and Trump. And who's the big winner here? Putin and Xi. Xi for looking like the grown-up in the room, and Putin because now he's just rolling in cash because everybody is lined up to buy some cheap-ass Russian oil right now. Chandra Patton, thanks for gifting the membership, Chandra. I really appreciate you. Jenny, 2025s. Stop watching mainstream media. Even PBS. Don't know if PBS is pulling punches, as Eagles saying we have to take it to the limit on indie media. I don't know exactly what you're talking about there, but I'm with you. Crafty Ass Gardner, thank you for your gift in the memberships. Janet, welcome. Janet ML 9093, new members. Welcome. Melissa Grubb, do you think the oligarchs buying the media is part of the plan to maybe try ours winning in the midterms, sowing more distrust in the elections? Of course. Of course. They're wildly unpopular. What they do is wildly unpopular. That's all they can do is use their oligarchs to buy up media and try to, of course. And of course they're going to cheat. Kim Brandy, welcome. Pat Fraser. And that's why we have to be welcome. Thank you for the support, Pat. I really appreciate it. I really do. But that's why we've got to be so good. We've got to be next level good in this next election. They're going to do everything they can to cheat. Cynthia Lawson, welcome. Read a couple more and we'll get back to work. E.T. Keg's Breath is essentially saying that they are weak and cowering while we are strong and good looking. I know. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. And the whole world sees what's really going on. That our might makes us right, and don't complain, just follow us. People get involved, get active. They understand how important the narrative is, but they don't understand why it has slipped away from them, because it's worked for decades for them. They just say it, and the news presents it as it's real. They don't understand. They don't understand. God help me when they figure out why. They don't understand why they can't control the narrative now. And it's people like me, people like Midas, people like Aaron Parnes, people like Brian Tyler Cohen. These guys are just, they don't get it. And God help us when they figure it out, because they'll try to censor us too. Skeet Sayer, YouTube just tried to crash the tab as I was saying she's going to face one hell of a civil unless the Dems win back Congress and it becomes criminal. I'm telling you, the stuff that's going to come out when we retake Congress is you think you know, but you don't. You don't know all the shit that's going to come out. And even the stuff you do know, this is what I was saying the other day. I've made a couple posts that were like Captain Obvious posts that are that people already know. And for people that responded to them, that, duh, we already know that. I just responded politely, yeah, but it's important that we keep saying it out loud. It's important that people with my kind of reach, my kind of social media reach, keep saying this stuff out loud. Yeah, we may all know that Trump is a dementia-laden, useless idiot. He was an idiot to begin with. But we have to keep saying it out loud. Why? Look at what Chris Murphy just said. On CNN. That's important. We are, again, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to pause for a second. There are people that believe in their heart of hearts that to move the Democratic Party, that we have to give them ultimatums. You do what I want or else. If you don't do what I want, I ain't voting. And I have always tried to explain to these people, no, that's not how this works. You must elect Democrats. Well, they did something I didn't like. Did you see what John Fetterman said? Irrelevant. That's not how it works. Everything that we've gotten done, we elect Democrats. Then we blaze the way for them. They're not evil people. They want to go where we're going. They're just politicians. which means until we blaze that path, till we pave that road, they're not going to walk it. This is the formula. Put Democrats in power. Then we go out and we blaze a 6-lane highway to the left. I know it's mirrored. This is my left hand. We blaze a 6-lane highway to the left, and the party will go down that highway. Look at gay marriage. When I love this example because it's true. When Barack Obama took office, he opposed gay marriage. He was only for civil unions. That's it. No gay marriage. Separate but equal is where our beloved Barack Obama, that's where he was. But we elected him. Members of the LGBTQI plus community held their nose and they elected him anyways. And then we all paved the way for gay marriage. And that's where we ended up. That's how it works, people. That's how it works. You really want to get things done? That's how you do it. Because not electing Dems, trying to blackmail them, only gets you Republicans. That's all that does. That just gets you Republicans. If you haven't blazed the way for them, the party's not going to go there. Gail Burnell, I'm from South Dakota. That woman put a TV studio in the governor's mansion so she could be a regular on Fox. Yep. Just like Hegseth did at the Pentagon. Glenn Kaneko, thank you for gifting the memberships, brother. Breaking that Marine's arm did not help them. No, it did not. No, it did not. And they're very angry that we know about that. Sergeant Flux, what are your thoughts on Dwight Eisenhower? Dwight Eisenhower was an exceptional president in all ways but one. And this is why I don't consider him a great president. I mean, he built our highway system. He was a Democrat. He was actually left of the Democrats now, but he was also a scorching fucking racist. He was. I've been to the man's home. I have. His home is right off of Gettysburg. I've been to the man's home. I have touched his desk. Believe me, I've studied him quite a bit. I am telling you, the man was a phenomenal president in every way but that one. He was a scorching fucking racist. And I know a lot of people will just shrug that off because, oh, well, it was the time. It was the 50s. That's what white dudes were. Well, this isn't the 50s. This isn't the 50s. And that's not okay. That's where I'm at on him. That's where I'm at on him. Look up Operation Wetback. That's a real thing, by the way. Sergeant Flux. All right. Johnny Warlock, welcome. A couple more and we're going to get back to work. I got one more story for you. Skeet Sayre, not just dumb, she is also cruel. Amen. Amen. Kathy Young came in a little late. Have you talked about the Eileen Cannon tapes? I have not. That's for another show. Don't ruin it. Shh. Jeanette Garreau, welcome. E.T., my fill-up yesterday cost me 1/3 more than the last one. Yep, and it's just going to get worse. My local Sam's Club had the gas prices stopped at $2.99 when everybody else had gone well above $3. Sam's, is owned by the Walton family. They had it, they pegged at $2.99. Even they had to go above $3 as of yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, I know $3 is cheap compared to where you are. Where I live, I have some of the cheapest gas prices in the entire country. I do. Skeets there, it doesn't matter. A natural disaster will hit Ohio, and FEMA or lack thereof will be very effective in that election. Man, I'm telling you, the Democrats are going to clean house. Ohio's flipping blue. Mike Daley, the Dem, after years of Governor Mike DeWimp, so ready for Democrat Amy Acton in Ohio. She, by the way, Amy Acton, Just an FYI. She's a bona fide doctor. She worked for Mike DeWine, by the way. People, again, and I hate the people that don't know, that talk. Oh, Blue Sky, I love you, Blue Sky, but you're the worst. You're the worst about this. You've got these people that speak full-throatedly and confident, and because of the way that site is structured, there's no algorithm dominating it. An idiot gets just as much, is weighted exactly like an expert. And that's Blue Sky's Achilles heel. You get, Karen, the Instagram vax denier, is weighted exactly the same as Dr. Peter Hotez on Blue Sky. And it's a problem. It's a problem because the doomers are a thing on Blue Sky. They really are. We have really got to get this under control. And the thing that that you're seeing on Blue Sky is that she worked for Mike DeWine. She's a corporate Democrat. She's one of that bullshit narrative that they're trying to push that gets them clicks, click, 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 click. It's not true. She's always been a Democrat. She led the COVID response in Ohio. Mike DeWine was smart enough to figure out, I can't let a bunch of Ohioans die. I'll look like an asshole. So he brought in Amy Acton to run the health department in Ohio during their COVID response. She's legit, and she is a Democrat. Tony Mason, ad campaign featuring Kristi on her trusty horse, wearing an orange jumpsuit. Awesome. Amen. Amen. 3 more and we're going to go. We're going to go back to work. Hermana of Delphi. Sister, glad to see you. Did I miss my Senator Miss Lindsay's swan song? Careful with that one. Everybody's already counting Lindsey Graham's seat. Don't do that. Don't do that. We got a lot of work to do there. Skeet Sayre, it is a tsunami, and all we are doing is illustrating the stupidity. Amen. Welcome, Terry Mayo. Good to see you. Welcome. Love seeing all the new members. Skeet Sayre, come on, Paul. A black man could be the next rep for the seat for Marjorie. Sean Harris, we talked about him in the last show, brother. We did. We talked about him in the last show. He's got a real shot if we get out and do the work. This is the last news bit I want to talk to you about, and then we'll come back to some more of your comments and have a little roundtable. I want to talk to you about this. The media is pissing me off on this. Their spin on this isn't Kash dumb? He likes sports so much, he's dumb. Absolutely the wrong spin. Keystone Kash outsources FBI training to UFC fighters. Yeah, he's an idiot. Yes, he's dumb. Yes, he's clueless. But that is not the important part about this. It isn't. The important part about this is this fucking guy's getting a contract. Dana White. You remember Dana, I slapped my wife White? Trump's buddy? The guy that's on video slapping the dog shit out of his wife at a UFC event? This fucking piece of shit? Yeah, he's getting a government contract to train federal agents who are already trained on self-defense. They actually have professionals that train them on how to defend themselves properly. You're talking about levels of escalation, real training. Now Dana White's going to get a contract to have our FBI agents sit down with a bunch of UFC fighters to talk about self-defense. Fucking stupid. 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 And it's payola. It's just more payola. The FBI has no business contracting with the UFC for training purposes. This is grift. This is a con. This is corruption in plain sight. And the corporate media is spent on it. Isn't he stupid? No, he's a fucking criminal. This is corruption, you dumbass. Dana White absolutely pushed Trump to the UFC crowd. This is his payback. This is out in your face corruption. This is going to be millions of dollars in fucking training that the FBI should not get, will not be helpful. I mean, good Lord. Do you want actual professional training? If the FBI ends up doing an investigation at your company and you're walking around the corner to the damn elevator, fucking clueless about everything that's going on, and you slam face first into an FBI agent, do you want him going fucking UFC on you? Or do you want him to be actually trained to respond to something like that? This is where we're at, folks. Open grift, right out in the open, right for the world to see. And the Republicans are like, la, 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 I can't see anything. Oh, the UFC, isn't that cool? That's where we're at. When we elect Democrats, we can have an investigation about how much was Dana Slap My Wife White paid. Look that up, by the way. That's a thing. Dana White just slapping the shit out of his wife. They're having an argument at a UFC event, and he just, pa! I mean, he's only got about 130 pounds on her. But yeah, this is where we're at, folks. This is where we're at. Jeff Schuler, Vivek has too much melanin for MAGA to like him. He will never have their support. Ooh, they don't like him. They don't like him, but they will walk into the booth and vote for him. We cannot get complacent on that one. We can't count on their bigotry keeping him out. ET, one thing that I worried about is fake lefts that will run and win as Dems. You know, we ET, that's a legitimate concern. It's a legitimate concern. We weeded out several in the primaries. We talked to you about Mitchell down here in Texas. We weeded out several of them in the primaries. There's no appetite for people just to show up and vote. People are actually getting involved, man. That's why I say this is your opportunity. You're the smart ones in the room. If you could sit here for 2 hours of me talking about all of this stuff, you're the smart ones in the room, because the dumb ones can't. They cannot do it. They're too worried about, shit like the UFC and NASCAR and shit like that. They can't do this. This is your opportunity to really lead them. Hermana of Delphi. MAGA is condensing, whittled to the craziest cult. That is true. Good point. That is damn true. That is really true. The people that are out there are fucking horrible. They'll openly defend pedophilia and the Epstein files. They'll openly defend graft. You should hear the god awful shit that they say about those schoolgirls that we killed. Fucking awful. Awful. And they are. They're just distilling down to the worst of them. Lillywigs, I'm committing to. Let's do this. Grace Gilbert, Dumpy and Yahoo think that they're calling the shots. However, just because they think they can end it when they want, Iran has a say in the matter. True, 100%. They've gotten into a fight with somebody that is not ready to quit fighting. And they can see what's happening. They can see what's happening to our markets. They can see what's happening to our gas prices. They know what's going to happen to our inflation. They know. Why would they quit? By the way, take a second to hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. If you're not a member, feel free to snatch up one of those gifted memberships. Santista 211. I guess both Trump and Bibi wants the world to burn. I guess the apocalypse is on its way. They're just fucking clueless, old, demented men. They're just dumb as dog shit, both of them. Psychopaths, both of them. Nico Desmond, welcome. How can you all get Trump's regime out now, please? EU wants to know. We can't, brother. We can't. Elections have consequences. It's just like the UK had to live through all that Brexit shit and until it voted these people out. We're in the same boat. November 2028 is when they're done. And that's actually January of 2029 before they leave office. Boy, imagine what that window is going to look like when they lose in November to when they leave in January. That is going to be an ugly few months. That is going to be an ugly few months. Thank you, beautiful, for that coffee. I do appreciate you. I do. Punching way out of my league there. I am. Melissa Grove, Netanyahu thought he was going to get the U.S. military at its best, not the military run by Fox talking head. Incompetents are incompetent. Israel into non-existence. I will say I agree with you, Melissa, all the way up to one point. Our military has performed spectacularly. They have. They've proven over and over again where our healthcare money went, where our education money went. I mean, it's not the military. The military's blowing up every damn thing that anything they want to hit, they hit. The problem is this whole war is so stupid to begin with. It's just dumb. Another Middle East quagmire. Just dumb. We've just made everything worse again. And it's the politics, not the military. We kicked the shit out of Afghanistan for 2 decades. Completely. It's like they say about Vietnam. Won every battle and lost the war. It's not the military. I'll disagree with you on that one, Melissa. I will. I love what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I love what you're saying. But that one aspect of I can't put the military in that one. I'm telling you, folks. Listen, our European audience, our African audience, our Australian audience, our Asian audience. I do. I got a guy from Thailand that watches the show religiously that emails me all the time. I have to run everything he says through a translator. But he's spot on. He's spot on. I really need you to know this. You have no idea what our military is capable of. You just don't. We're not even getting warmed up. We haven't even declared war. We haven't engaged in any spending on this. You follow me? And we're just slapping Iran around like it's nothing. We're literally the only military on the face of the planet that could go into a world war alone and have a shot. We've got to change that. We do. We have got to change that. Militaries were not meant to be this way. Because if you've got one, you're going to use it. There's a lot to be said for having to build up a military for military action. It makes you have to really commit to that action. You can't have some dumb psychopath like fucking Benjamin Netanyahu talk you into something because you've already got the assets available. We've got to change the way we look at our military. And the reason I'm telling you, you folks that are, outside the U.S. that are part of our international community here, you have to talk to your leaders about that, because we've got bases all around you. I don't mean to talk down my own country, but y'all need to start pushing back against the military that we keep. I know for a long time it's been, we'll be the guard dogs, but you can see how that can backfire badly. Kelly Dack, if you sign anything outside your grocery store, you'll need to go to your local registrar's office and change your party preference. That's one way they get you. Love you, Texas Paul. Love you too, Kelly. I do. I'm so fortunate to have y'all here. What she's talking about is the Republicans are really doing some shitty stuff, man. They're registering people to vote, but they're not registering you as a Democrat. They're registering you as a Republican. So you show up to vote in a primary, no can do, baby. They're going to cheat. They are. They're going to cheat. We have to be better. Skeet there, if you thought the J6 trials were riveting, get ready. There will be even Epstein and corruption is choking. Get the pallet of popcorn. The resistance works as we are the decent ones. Amen. We are not the same, people. We're the ride or die Democrats, baby. I don't know if you noticed, but we went right into the round table. McBastage, have to keep pointing out the iceberg tip to find the rest of the monster. Amen. Keep talking. Mike Daly, the Dem. Eisenhower was a great president and also responsible for the current situation in Iran. Yeah. It's amazing the seeds that we plant and how they grow. Mr. Wallace, my local Quick Trip at HEB hovered $2.99 in Conroe all week. They just went to $3.09 today. Yep. And it's going to get higher. I'm telling you, we're a community here. I'm warning you in advance. You're going to have to start. Look, Mrs. Texas Paul doesn't let me leave this house without checking in with her. It's true. She doesn't. If I leave this house, we have a meeting. Where are you going? What are you going to do? Well, I'm going down to Home Depot to do this. Okay, can it wait? Because on Wednesday, we're going to go shopping and we can put it on our list. We already do that here. We already root out unnecessary trips and stuff like that. You're going to have to get very disciplined over the next little bit, because gas is going to get really freaking expensive. And man, you've seen it, the way it metastasizes over to the cost of everything. Because if you bought it, a truck brought it. Lorraine Million, 1959. Texas Paul and Mrs. Texas Paul are the best. I got a nice tip at work, and I'm giving you. Oh, man, that is so cool. That is so cool of you. Thank you. I'm truly grateful for that. Keep on keeping us up to date with the crazy, and the community really appreciates you. Man, that is, Lorraine, that is super touching. I'm telling you, that hits me right to feel. Because I know how hard you work for that money, Lorraine. I do. I know how hard you work for it. Skeet Sayre, you are describing the COVID dilemma. I had a family member ask me if a doctorate meant anything. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Amber Morgan, welcome. Thank you for supporting the show. Sergeant Flux, also Dwight's CIA and MI6 overthrew Iran's leader in 1953, despite Truman telling Churchill to kick rocks a year or so earlier. Yep. That is true. That is 100% true. The roots of where we are were planted under Eisenhower. They were. Carl Rossi, a while back today, a Korean view posted, Trump is a sociopath. Koreans know. I think you meant Korean, not Korean. I read that wrong. A while back, a Korean view posted, Trump is a sociopath. Koreans know one. They know one when they see them. Amen. Amen. Skeets there. Kash should be thrown in jail, except Iran to be successful in their next attempt. I think you meant, I read it wrong. I said expect. Kash should be thrown in jail. Expect Iran to be successful in their next attempt. I hope you're not talking about hitting here, because that would be the dumbest thing they could do. That would be the dumbest thing they could do. I actually think that was right-wing spin, because that was just the FBI that said that. That was Kash Patel that said that Iran was going to hit us on the West Coast. I call bullshit, because that would be the dumbest thing Iran could do, would be to hit us here. To have terror cells happen here. That would be dumb. That would be dumb. More likely, you're going to see terrorist activity in the region, in the Middle East region. You're going to see bases hit, like our Canadian brothers and sisters in Iraq were just hit. Just a few days ago, they were hit. That's the kind of thing I think you're going to see more of. User PC6JS, thank you for being here. Dr. Dag7, new member. All right. Skeets there. Wasn't Vivek banned from Turning Point USA? Man, I tell you what, they do not like that dude. But you watch what happens now. They're going to love him, because he's going to clean up. He is going to be the Republican that hit, man. He's not going to lose 30 points, 30 to 50 points before May. No, not going to happen. ET, more like training on how to best escalate a situation and be brutal about it. Yep. Talking about the UFC stuff. Verify your voter registration, early voting deadlines, get involved. Amen, brother. Mr. Newsom, $9.40 US dollar gas for diesel here in Norway. Ouch. Ouch. The incentive to get a modern electric car is huge. Charging at home is 10 to 15% of buying gas or diesel. Amen. Amen. BYD has some really amazing shit, I will tell you. They really do. And you can get them in Norway. Unlike here. Can you believe they won't let us buy them here? And I know, man, I'm going to get the emails now from my brothers and sisters. I support unions. I do. And the last thing they want is to allow the Chinese in to sell cars here. I understand that. I get it. I also get that our car companies are falling sorely behind what's available in the rest of the world. And the only way you fix that in a capitalistic society like ours is competition. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know that, right? Our cars that we're buying here don't compete with what they buy in Europe and Asia. Johnny Lott, thank you, brother. Thank you for gifting the memberships. There are gifted memberships to be had out there, folks. Snatch them up. Nita, thank you for being a member. Dorothy, I'm going to say Diviney is what I'm going to go with, because you're divine. Welcome. Welcome. Susan Robinson, welcome. Couple more comments here. Tiger Butterfly, the Nordic Times ran across them the other day, and they do amazing news coverage. I went off of Senator Hirono's cost numbers yesterday. Through my math, for 13 days, we have spent $40.5 billion talking about how much we spent in Iran. Yeah, they are way underestimating. And the corporate media is stuck on this 10 billion number. They've been stuck on this 10 billion number since day 2. Yeah, we're up to about $30-40 billion. You're damn right about that. And that's before we just lost one of our big refueling tankers. Clipped a C-130. There's pictures online. You can check it out. I should have had one for the show. Damn it. Where you can see, that big, on the Galaxies, that big tail fin on, half of it's gone. Where that C-130 hit, 4 soldiers lost their lives. 4 airmen lost their lives. The other 2 are unaccounted for. ET. Thing is, these people are still looking at going after Cuba. Marines are still in Puerto Rico, poised to invade there. Yeah. I have said, I put my neck out on the line and said, they're not going to be that stupid. I think that the Republicans are in full freak-out mode by how badly all of this has gone in Iran. And they see that as just the nail in the coffin for the midterms if they go into Cuba. Alexander Dulforce, you've shown me how to talk populist into voting dim, ride or die instead of dying on a hill over a pet issue or just plain arrogance. Thank you. No, thank you. Y'all are the ones that have to do the work. Mighty cool. Do you think we'll have boots in Iran before the election, or think he'll wait to see if their cheating worked? Because everyone hates this. I got to tell you, folks, it's really up in the air. It is really up in the air. Like I said, they keep information away from that demented old fool. But this is really, I mean, he's on his phone, man. It's soaking in just how unpopular this is. Do they roll the dice with Hegseth and his warfighter bullshit and think that they can turn it around with some more footage? Do they think that they can blackmail us Democrats to stop talking bad about it because soldiers' lives are on the line? I mean, these are all calculations that they're making. As sick as it is, it's not about whether it's the right thing to do. It's about how's it going to pay off politically. So anybody that tells you they know what's going to happen next is a liar. I can tell you what I think is going to happen next. And I think that this has gone bad enough. I mean, that's why you got Pete Hegseth crying about the news coverage. I think that they see that this has gone bad enough, that this is going to fall on Hegseth. He may get replaced out of this. Mr. Knudsen, why do you have to declare in advance your affiliation of a party before you vote? It should not be public. It's no one's business. We're talking about in the primaries. In the primaries, you can't vote in both primaries in some states. Some states have open primaries. The majority of it, the way it works, majority of states, the way it works is you have to walk in and you have to say, like, I voted in the Democratic primary in Texas because I wanted to be able to vote in some of the races that were there. That means I cannot vote in the Republican primary. It's just the way it works here. That's not the election per se. You can vote for whoever you want in the election. They don't ask. On election day, that is, not a primary election where we're picking within the parties who our candidates are going to be. When you're talking about both parties fighting it out, they don't ask shit about your affiliation. They don't. But in the primaries where you're picking your candidates in your party, you've got to put the jersey on and you got to say, I'm a Democrat. At least for today, I'm a Democrat. It's just the way it works here, man. Because we don't have a parliament. There isn't like where there can be like 10 parties on it that are running. We're a two-party system. Marie Crabtree, boom. Thanks for the big support. I really appreciate it. Agent Cajun John, man. I'll be sending you an email later today. I'm fine. Good. Glad to hear it. Bring forced out of U.S. Don't know what you mean there, John. Send me the email. I've been really worried about John. He's been staring down the barrel of some pretty serious health issues, and apparently you got some good news today. Glad to hear it, brother. Glad to hear it. Congratulate my man, John. Glad to see you, Dollar Straws. Thank you for the support. Trader Hater, good to see you. Parked my truck several weeks ago and knows several other drivers that have done the same. Yep. A lot of people are, I got a pickup truck. I didn't buy diesel this time. I bought a gas truck. My old farm truck is a gas truck. That thing gets 11 miles to the gallon no matter what you do. You could be pulling a house. It will get 11 miles to the gallon. You can be completely empty going down the highway. It will get 11 miles to the gallon. I've never had a vehicle like that before in my life, but it does. No matter what you do, 11 miles to the gallon. So I do not drive that. We've got a Honda that we drive that gets significantly better gas mileage. Samantha, welcome. Skeets here. Ronald Reagan created that when we created that when he gave all the commercial jobs to China. Oh, Ronald Reagan created that when he gave all the commercial jobs to China. Yeah, Don Regan was hated organized labor, thought it was communism. He said it was better. I mean, really, he was the former head of Merrill Lynch who became Ronald Reagan's chief of staff, really told our corporations, it is better for you to ship jobs overseas than it is for you to pay union workers. Yeah, really. The Hen House, 1901. Captain G.I. Joanne, the inebriated fool, has turned our proud military into a source of mockery. What is this fascination with attractive men in uniform? It is an absurdity of Xantic. It is. He looks like a fool. He looks like a fool. Heidi! Puerto Rico in the house. How's the cats, Heidi? How's Linda doing? How's Linda and Tiger doing? If you think gas prices are high in the U.S., can you imagine in Puerto Rico? More so when you work visiting customers all day. Yeah, I can only imagine. Good to see you, Heidi. Melissa Grubb, I just want to clarify my problem. By the way, Heidi, I'm going to take you up on that. We're going to be in Puerto Rico sometime late this year. I'm going to take you up on that lunch. We're going to go. You got to let me buy the beer. We're going to throw back some cervezas and we're going to have some lunch. Melissa Grubb, I just want to clarify my problem is with Keg Breath and his stupidity, Signalgate, etc. He is going to cost more lives than we can bear. Amen, Melissa. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. I wasn't, no smoke towards you at all. I hope I made that clear. Yeah, I knew it. I knew what you meant there. I did. I didn't think you were shitting on our military at all. I didn't. Monica Berlin, thank you for being here. Huge support, Monica. Thank you. That's very great. Very grateful. Skeet Sayre, they are that stupid. The field. Man, I'm blowing it today. Skeets, appreciate you. Oh, by the way, Skeets, I need you to email me. I got some contact information I want to forward to you. I need you to email me. I mean it, brother. Send me an email. I need you to email me. They are that stupid to feel the gravity of when the House is in session. Yep. Yeah. You watch what happens. Especially as this stuff keeps. They really thought this war in Iran was going to just carry them to the midterms. They really did. They had no idea this was going to blow up so badly. Margaret Baer, glad to see you. Glad to see a new member. Rena, our military is awesome. I love the oversight hearings. They openly admitted the actions in Iran is totally on rump, between the lines, and every answer without saying it out loud. The professionals in the military are not digging this. They are not. Caroline, is Iran's plan to destroy U.S. economy and isolate the U.S. late to the party? Yeah, they know the idiocy of Trump and his tariffs and how fragile our economy is. They know, man. They're not isolated. They're not stupid people. They aren't. The Iranian people are not stupid people. They aren't. Just because it's a theocracy, don't dismiss them. Mr. Knutson, 40 billion US dollars could buy every American citizen 12 pounds of lobster, but only Keg Breath eats and not you. Yep. That is something that has been terrific messaging, by the way. You folks have been killing it out there. Every time these numbers come out, people talk about how much healthcare could that have bought? How many children, starving children, could we have fed for this war of choice? And it just keeps adding up. SGAKSU, wow, I happened across your live stream and I've never seen an American that looks like you but speaks such total sense. A lefty Texan, more power to you. There are actually millions of us out there, but we just don't get the attention. We don't. We really don't. You don't dismiss Texans. There are millions of people out there just like me. And I get crap about the hat all the time. I do. I get crap about the hat all the time. This is a cultural thing. You don't have to be a working cowboy to wear a cowboy hat. We're raised wearing these things. It's just part of who we are, but I want to say, I may have talked about this in the show. I think I did a video on it, but I may have talked about this in the show, but I just want to reiterate this. I had a conversation with somebody that made a snarky remark about I was talking about shit that Trump did. And they made a snarky remark that I deserved it. It's what I voted for. And what they did was they made an assumption by looking at me that I was some piece of shit Trumper. That used to hurt my feelings a lot because I know how many people are here that are good and decent people that look just like me. And it used to hurt my feelings. But that one didn't. I don't know. I've evolved or changed or whatever. I don't think that you should just automatically trust somebody that looks like me. For decades, because of the bigotry, Black people have put up with this shit for years. Hispanic people have put up. Ask them. There's a reason we do a live show so that you can ask. Black people have put up with shit for years about being prejudged and people grabbing their purse when they see somebody walking down the street, shit like that. They put up with it for 250 years. They put up with this shit. Hispanics have also. It's about time that people that look like me get prejudged a little bit, because half of us are fucking dangerous. Half the people out there that look like me, you should not allow around your kids. They're defending pedophilia. They're defending people being killed. They're defending people children, girls being killed. No. I'm okay with earning your trust. I'm okay with you figuring out that I'm not some piece of shit Trumper and then us coming together on that. I'm okay with that. I'll do the work. Because I don't think anybody should trust people that look like me anymore. I just don't. MAGA is proven. That's one thing you could say about Trump. If you force me, if you put a gun to my head and said, you must say something positive that Trump has done, I would say he has shown us who we really are as a people. That about 30 to 35% of us are fucking disgusting. And unfortunately, they look like me. So I get it. I truly get it. Couple more comments and we're going to call it a day. I'm going to go with Terrell. I'm fucking that up. I know. Terrell Heinrichsen. The Heinrichsen I can do. That's my people. The Heinrichsens are my people. Stand fast, Texas Paul. Here is a little something for the jar from a Norwegian dairy farmer. Norway in the house. You need to help me. Do me a favor. Sometime in the next show, give me a pronunciation. I want Torrild. I'm gonna message you. I do apologize. It's a pet peeve of mine. I think mispronouncing people's names is disrespectful. So if you could help me out with that, I'd be super grateful, man. Glad to see our Norwegian people in the house. Wayne, good to see you. Now I can do Wayne. Help me out, brother. Help me out. Marie Crabtree, gifted memberships. There are memberships to be had out there. You can get those on replay also. It doesn't have to be on the live. Just hit that join button and follow the instructions. You may have to make a change that it will allow you to accept gifts, but they're there. ET, keep in mind that YouTube won't allow you to say certain things in super chats. Sometimes you can reword it, sometimes not. Frustrating on our side and makes it difficult for you to read them as well. That happens. That happens. That's the thing. I don't own it. I don't control it. Fenrir, stupid question for you. Do you think Trump is doing this war to destroy America and crush resistance, or is he just that inept, or a bit of both? Okay, I got a conspiracy theory. I do. I've got a conspiracy theory. I think this war in Iran was both incompetence and not knowing how badly it was going to blow up in their faces. They thought it was going to be like the last time where they just bombed and Iran were the adults in the room that said, okay, we'll stop. I don't think they knew how bad it was going to go. But I also think that this was about repealing the sanctions on Russia. I think that they knew, everybody knew, the minute fighting breaks out in Iran, gas prices spike because 20% of the world's oil comes out of the Persian Gulf. I really believe in my heart of hearts that this was about helping their buddy Pooty Poot, getting rid of these sanctions. That's why I say they're not going to be temporary. April, these sanctions are never coming back. Lance Ledgerwood, good to see you. I love calling Joe's last SNL open on Kegsbeth tells the reporters that they are playing chess and he is playing Grand Theft Auto. That's funny. That is funny. That is funny. Tiger Butterfly on the Arms Committee meeting yesterday, the way that General Reed spoke by using Kegsbeth warfighter terminology compared to General, I know, Rinkowicz, was disgusting. Reed seems so uncomfortable. Yeah, folks, don't look for the military to put an end to any of this. There are way too many in the military that are either go-along people and don't have any spine to resist, or there are way too many right-wing nuts. Anthony Tata was a general. That nutball that is the Undersecretary of Defense, or pardon me, the Undersecretary of War, he was a general. He was a fucking nut. He's still a fucking nut. Santisa, time to get rid of Psycho Don out of office and in prison. He can't die fast enough. I cannot wait for that old man to just croak. Heart attack. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, man? Skeet Sayre, I went to school in Toronto, Canada, and it was so special. My school pictures look like the UN. We learned that you are not what you look like, but who you are. That's the way it should be, brother. That's the way it should be. There's so much flavor, so much, everything from art to music to food to everything. Diversity is such a gift. It is such a gift. It makes the world interesting. And America, we're so gifted here. We're a nation of immigrants. We don't have a nationality. So compared to so many other nations in the world that do have it, the French are French, the English are English, the Norwegians are Norwegian. Yes, they open their doors, but there's still that. We don't have that. We just get to party like it's 1999 with whoever shows up, man. One day we're river dancing, and the next day, we're watching the first people put on a hell of a show, man. It's just so fortunate if we could just get rid of the bigots. Johnny Lott, I watch Malcolm and Bobby for my war coverage. There's a lot of good people out there that are breaking down what's going on. Metal Rabbit, keep getting sent. Really? That's weird. You're about the third person that's mentioned that today. Heidi, dude, my grandmother used to scream, "Get this dirty black girl out of my house." She was white and I'm not. Yeah. There's some crazy bigots out there. Thank you, honey. Appreciate you. Thorrild. Got it. Thorrild Henriksen. Got it. Got it, my brother. Thorrild. Got it. Thank you, my guy. I really appreciate it, brother. I really appreciate it. That is such a pet peeve of it. I just consider it so much disrespect when you don't pronounce Thorrild. Gotcha, brother. Gotcha. Asbjorn and Thorrild. We got several people from Norway here, man. We're breaking out in Norway. Dickola 100, boy, I know how to pronounce your name. We know the real reason for the war. Operation Epstein Fury. The Mad King is desperate to distract us, so he's flailing about like a bull, smashing all the China he can. Ain't gonna work, Donnie dumbass. Epstein not going away. Yep. Amen, brother. Skeets there. Apocalypse Now was a warning. Yep. Chandra, Nuckin' Futz. Kira loves Michael. Hey, Texas Paul, it's pronounced Kyra. Thank you. Kyra. Gotcha. Kyra loves Michael. Michael is a fortunate man. Metal Rabbit, Military Religious Freedom Foundation has complaints from all our military branches. And you get the last word. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Enjoy.